What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel. This is where I talk about business and marketing, entrepreneurship, stuff like that that's not really a fit for my main channel because it's not really directly related to music. But in this video, what I wanted to talk about is something that is always cool, the opportunity to take my own advice. Because I've said in a lot of videos how bands should take their merch more seriously and treat that as like a business as part of their overall revenue mix. And people like told me how right I was and smart for saying that, but the truth is that I was full of shit because I wasn't doing that myself. I kind of treated merch as an afterthought. I had merch, but I never really talked about it. I didn't really put a lot of effort into like promoting it. I didn't really think about the pricing and stuff. I just kind of said, I don't know. It's out there. It is what it is. And I sort of told myself that it wasn't important, but the truth is that was bullshit. I was just being lazy. And after making those videos, it kind of made me realize it. I also talked to my friend Grady Smith, who's a country YouTuber, and he was telling me about some of the success he's had recently with merch. And I was like, shit, I need to take this seriously. I need to get my head out of my ass and start doing this for real. So I did. And in this video, I want to talk about the results that I got and most importantly, how I got there to sort of help you think about this for anything you may be working on. So I was making maybe $100 or $200 a month off of merch. And don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for every penny of that. And I know that there's a lot of other people who would be happy to make that much. So I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that I know that I have potential to do more because I know about apparel. I mean, I worked at Abercrombie & Fitch for 4 years doing design and marketing. I know the apparel business quite well. I know e-com very well because I've run Shopify stores before. Like, I know how to do this. So the truth is, I was just being lazy. And now you can see that between April and now, I've made a total of $3,700 in total profit off of my merch, which is awesome. Like, I'm not gonna buy a yacht with that, but that's real money. And you can see here right around October, that's when I really started taking it seriously. You can see when there's that huge inflection point. So let's talk about what I did. Number one is, first thing I did is I went in and just kind of like looked at my store on Teespring and just tidied up a bunch of stuff that was messy. For one, they have like a new template for your store that I switched over to, like a new layout for everything that just sort of optimizes a bunch of little things. And you should do the same thing for any product pages that you have. The second thing I did was I looked at the pricing because I just kind of accepted the default pricing on a lot of stuff, which to be honest is really high and kind of crazy. Like there were hoodies that were $43. And look, I'm all about, valuing yourself and charging a premium and stuff, but $43 for a hoodie with my logo on it, to me, just plus shipping, which can be, internationally like 20 bucks. Like, I'm not going to ask anybody to spend $50 or $60 on a one color hoodie for my channel. I'm not going to do it. So I looked at that, and there were some places where I was making like $1 on an item, and then other places where if I sold one, I made like $15. Just crazy. So I just kind of evened everything out to a point where it feels like a fair price for me to ask, but also I make enough money off it so that it's worth my time to promote it. The next thing I did was to come up with some new designs. I did the original logo shirt like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something like that, and kind of never really did anything other than that. And that did sell well, so that's cool, but I wanted to add some more fun stuff in there because although I've talked about how oftentimes the biggest sellers are the simple items, which is true, but doing stuff that's kind of fun and different and ridiculous is a good way to get attention for your store that will turn into sales, even if it's not the thing that they originally came to the store for. For example, like if you go to Banana Republic or whatever, and they have like some bright orange fuzzy sweater in the window, they don't actually expect you to buy that sweater. That's just to get you to stop and pay attention to Banana Republic. You go in there and you probably end up buying the same like navy, black, or white sweater because those are the things that sell all the time. But that bright orange thing is what got you into the store. And so I wanted to do a better job of kind of utilizing that dynamic. For example, there was a thread about me in the gent shit posting group a couple weeks ago, someone making fun of me and calling me a boomer or whatever. And I thought, you know what? I should do something with this. So I screen capped his comment and I made a shirt out of it. I think I only sold like 2 or 3 of them. God bless the people who bought them. But that wasn't the point. The point is that I was able to use that as social media content that got a ton of engagement and made people think about my merch store. The second thing to think about with your merch is to have some kind of an authentic story behind it. You see some of these bands or companies that have like 900 different designs and none of them make any sense. It feels like they just bought random illustrations from people and put them on a shirt. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you'll see that what tends to sell better is when something actually has lore behind it. So I came up with 2 new designs, both of which have sold really well, based on kind of the lore around my channel. The first is this one, pop punk with breakdowns. And the origin of that is that that's how I've always described the genre of easycore, which sounds like pop punk with breakdowns. And since I'm kind of the only person on the internet that really ever talks about easycore, that's sort of like my thing. I'm not gonna say like I own easycore, but it is part of my lore, I guess you would say, is my connection to easycore. And shout out to Andre Feely for coming up with that design. He's a UFC fighter who's also into like sad boy, twinkle daddy, pop punk, and all that stuff. He just texted me one day and was like, oh dude, you should make a shirt that says pop punk with breakdowns. And I said, good idea, typed it up. 5 minutes later, I had the shirt live on my store. And that has actually been my #1 seller. I'll get into sales data in a minute. The second design that I got was this one, which is obviously inspired by the neon cartoon monster merch of like the late 2000s MySpace era, which I've also talked about in a lot of videos. Again, this is something that I clearly have like a personal connection to. I've talked about it a million times. And I actually got one of the like defining artists of that genre to do the art, a guy named Michael Shantz. He did a lot of the stuff for Drop Dead in the beginning, like the cartoon cat with its brain out that you might have seen. And so again, this is a design that I have like a personal connection to, and I think people really respond to that. That one has sold really well too. Don't just put something out because somebody else did it. Come up with something that makes sense for you and your brand. And lastly, I promoted it a lot more. If you notice, I kind of never really talked about my merch in videos before, or maybe only a little bit, just kind of in passing. I made a conscious effort over the past couple months to really highlight it in my videos, and I also ordered these physical samples of it. I noticed a huge bump when I started showing those in videos. You know, showing a physical sample of the thing is going to be more compelling than me just showing a screenshot. Seeing a real physical product like that just makes it cooler, right? I also share it on my story if anybody ever tags me in a picture of them wearing my merch. #1, because I just genuinely appreciate the support and I want to show everybody that. And #2, because it makes it feel like a community. And if you feel like by buying a piece of merch, that makes you part of this community, again, that's gonna help sales. For example, this brand here, Top Threads, which my friend Randall Pitch runs. He also owns Live Fit Apparel. I love this brand, A, because the product is cool, but also because like Randall's part of our community, part of our scene, and I wanna show that I support him and support that community by wearing the product. And so let me just share some specifics on how that worked out as far as sales go. The #1 seller over that period is my just basic logo shirt. In total, I sold 241 units of that over this period. The second biggest seller was the pop punk with breakdowns one, which I sold 142 units of. Third biggest seller is the neon cartoon monster one by Michael Shantz. #4, 49 units. 5 is the first cartoon monster shirt I did, 39 units. And lastly is the Arch logo shirt at 35 units. So the data isn't perfect, but I just wanted to share what I have so you can kind of get a sense of how these things break out. Because, you know, I like to share information and be transparent, and, you know, people never share this stuff. I don't know why. So that's it for this video. Short and sweet, but hopefully it's helpful. Thank you very much to everybody who has supported by buying some merch. Again, if you have any of this stuff, post a picture of it, tag me in it. I love sharing that stuff. And if you have a product to sell, think about all the stuff that I talked about in this video, especially the part about having like a real story behind it. I think that's the #1 thing you can do to make your product sell better. Don't just do it because you saw somebody else do it. Make the thing that really only you can make, that is a product of you and your unique experience and your story. And that, I think, is what will connect with people. There you go. I hope that helps. Let me know what you think in the comments. And obviously, if you want to buy some of this merch, there is a link to that in the description. And with that, I'm going to sign off for now, but I will see you next time.